Correspondent Mary Chinda is covering the supplementary elections in Adamawa State in the Northeast, and she's ready to give us an update at this point. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, thank you.
Good morning, happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you too, Mary. Bring us up to speed on how it all went yesterday in Adamawa, the governorship, supplementary governorship election. What are we about to witness? A woman governor or an incumbent retaining seat of power?
Yes, yesterday went on smoothly in Adamawa. I mean, the supplementary election across the 20 out of the 21 local government areas went on very peacefully. I mean, this was even to the surprise of most of the election observers that I interviewed because of what the fears that they had at the general election when the governorship election was first held. Now, there was, like I said, relative peace, and the issues surrounding vote buying, like we witnessed in Kebbi State, was not so pronounced in most of the polling units that Arise TV crew actually visited. So another thing that's also characterized this supplementary election in Adamawa State is voter turnout. The voter turnout, according to the report that I filed yesterday, and according to observations from a couple of election observers, was very, very high. It seemed as though the people of Adamawa State knew that this was one election where their votes actually counted, and they turned out en masse to get to be part of those making the decision as to who their new governor-elect would be. Now, one other thing is that the Beavers was also almost at its best. Most of the polling units that we visited, there are 69 polling units and over 36,000 registered voters who were to participate in this exercise, out of which 32,421 had actually picked up their PVCs. Now, the Beavers was functioning very optimally, and it made the job of INEC and that of the electorate go on very smoothly. So as early as 8 a.m. for some, 8:30, especially across Yola North, where we visited yesterday, as early as that, the business of accreditation and voting had actually started in earnest. So people were full of praises for the electoral umpire, INEC, and how things were going on quite smoothly. So I'd say that from Adamawa State, it's not been violence. It's not been all of the troubles that were speculated. The supplementary election in Adamawa State went on quite smoothly yesterday. Up until 9 p.m. yesterday, the INEC office, was open at about 9 p.m. yesterday, up until 1 a.m. and results for 10 out of the 20 local government areas had actually, started being collated. So we're waiting for 10 more local government areas. It would be worthy to note that out of the 21 local government areas in Adamawa State, 20 are participating in this supplementary election. So we have 10 local government areas down, 10 more to go, and 11 a.m. is the time when we will be reconvening at the INEC office right here in the state capital of Yola to know what exactly and where exactly these results are headed.
Well, thank you, Mary, for that update. I know that you did say that there are about 10 polling unit results that you are still awaiting, but it is reported that the incumbent governor, Adamawa, is still in the lead. He maintains his lead over his main rival, Aishatu Binani. But I will also like for you to comment a little bit about the security situation there in Yola. I understand that it was quite peaceful. Share with us some of your thoughts on the process there.
Well, it appears that INEC is not the only body that should be getting a lot of kudos for how peaceful or how smoothly the supplementary election has gone right here in Adamawa State. The security operatives would also be getting some thumbs up for that because, I mean, the police actually turned out en masse yesterday. It looks like, you know, from one polling unit to another, especially in Yola North here, it was an avalanche of policemen, and I'm not surprised because on Friday we spoke to the police PRO who told us that there would be at least 10 policemen per polling unit. Now I tell you, we have 69 polling units already for this election, and it was not just the police. In fact, men of the Federal Road Safety Corps were also, you know, found at several polling units yesterday, and as well as men of the, you know, NSCDC and men of the Nigerian Army. So the security operative had actually come together to ensure that whatever incidents of violence is actually nipped in the bud and well arrested.
Well, all right. Well, thank you very much, Mary. I hope that we will link up with you at around 10 a.m. today when the collation opens. Thank you so much.
OG.
All right, then. Well, that was a great one from Mary Chinda. She's always amazing with her reportage. You know, I did really like the fact that she mentioned that it was quite peaceful in Yola.
Yes.
I believe that they also deployed about 1,000 security operatives yesterday. It is refreshing to hear this coming from Adamawa State.
Absolutely. I mean, two key things from what Mary said. The process of the voting itself, and the fact that beavers, you know, worked optimally, which is, I mean, that's kudos to INEC. That's
in Yola State, because
in,
you know that
in Adamawa State.
I mean, in Adamawa State, correct?
Yes.
But because you know that some other states there was
we'll still be going
beavers,
to Bengashiru in Kebbi
not
later.
Just beavers snatching, not just ballot box. There was ballot box and beavers snatching.
Yeah, I mean, we will have updates on those allegations and social media stuff. But Adamawa is important because of the key players in the governorship race. You mentioned, of course, that it looks like Fintiri, the incumbent governor, might still be leading. We can't say for now because until 10, when INEC will begin to release the result, we can't say. But then we can at least recall that Fintiri went into this election with an advantage, more than 30,000 votes.
Correct.
More than, you know, over that of Aishatu Binani, who, if peradventure she wins, she'll become the first elected female governor, you know, in Nigeria. I remember when President Muhammadu Buhari and the president-elect raised her hand at the campaign, you know, in Yola, etc. But we'll wait and see, you know, what the announcement will be. I don't think that anything will be shocking.
I mean, I think for me, I think it's definitely refreshing to see how that it is possible to have, at least in Adamawa State, it is possible to have elections that are free and fair. And, you know, just even talking to, you know, Mary, you could just tell from her demeanor that it was refreshed. It was, you know, it was a good place to be. She was relaxed. And that's how elections should be. And, you know, she did also say that we should not just be giving kudos to only INEC, but what they've been able to do is at least reassure the Nigerian people that, you know, this technology works. You know, we can actually rely on our security officials, but it shouldn't just be a thing of, you know, celebrating now and forgetting about it. It's about going back to the drawing board and trying to draw conclusions from what happened. I mean, we should not be having supplementary elections to even begin with. So very excited to hear what comes out of this. You know, like you said, Fintiri is in the lead, and, you know, at 10 o'clock we'll be able to tell who exactly is going to be taking that mandate home.
Well said. All right.
Well, just a quick one. That's key because INEC needs to get Adamawa right because of the supplementary part that you mentioned, given the size of the vote that led to the election being declared as inconclusive. There are many people, many critics of INEC who will say, what about other states? Take Ogun State, for example, where the winner, the incumbent governor, Dakwa Abiodun, led, or he was declared winner with less than 10,000 votes. I think it's about 3 or 4,
That's
5,000.
a very valid point.
You know, and
Very
people are
valid
like,
point.
how come Adamawa had to go into
Yes.
supplementary and not to go? There are a few other states like that, but let's see what INEC makes out of this, and
Definitely.
hopefully they'll get it right.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, that was a great one from Mary Chinda in Adamawa State. And now we are being joined for an update on the supplementary elections in Kebbi State by our RISE correspondent, Benga Ashiru, who has been following events there as they unfold. Good morning, Benga.
Good morning, Steve, OJ, and Ayorinde.
She's
It's been a long
shaking.
night.
All right.
At last, after a long wait, 5 results from 5 different local governments, from Alero, Arewa, Benin Kebbi, Bunza, and Meyama local government results
All right. Perfect.
was released yesterday. And okay.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that with us. Well, I would like for you to actually bring us up to speed with security, because I know Kebbi is in the news. It is understood that a yet-to-be-identified man was shot by soldiers yesterday while attempting to snatch a ballot box at a polling unit. It is also understood that the EFCC also arrested about 12 persons for alleged vote buying during the supplementary elections yesterday. Well, have you gotten any feedback? Can you bring us up to speed with those reports?
Yes, we did report this yesterday, and we understand that they are at the police custody and investigations is ongoing on this issue. It's quite a misadventure of what could have turned out a very peaceful and smooth election in what INEC was determined, the kind of narrative INEC was determined to spearhead in Kebbi. We had the declaration of the Riot Act on its staff, because they promised that they wouldn't be using ad hoc staff, that they would be using their own staff. But right now it's quite interesting that we are waiting for 15 more results from 15 local government areas, and INEC is expected to commence collation at 11 a.m. prompt. The last collation, yesterday's collation was done at 11 p.m. at night, and today there will be starting collation at 11 a.m. It's time you can get your political mathematics cap set, because I told you yesterday that the votes at stake is just 91,000, with APC maintaining a lead of 34,000 plus. So, and with INEC having a clear political history of never recording up to 50% voter turnout in any election, even at the last election, it was 37% voter turnout. So what will be needed now is for the challenging candidate, General Aminu Bandi of the PDP, to have at least the 50% maximum expected voter turnout, and to expect the APC to score almost a 0. But what we are having now is that the APC is still maintaining lead in 4 additional local government areas where PDP had been able to win in only Bunza local government area. You could allow me to read it out to you. Alero local government, APC scored 454, with PDP scoring 370. Arewa local government, APC scored 388, with PDP scoring 304. In Benin Kebbi, the state capital, we have APC scoring 1,413, with PDP scoring 978. In Bunza, this appears to be a PDP stronghold, but it was neck and neck. APC scoring 603 and PDP scoring 775. So PDP won in this local government. Meyama local government, APC scored 1,787, with PDP scoring 1,458. So that is the situation right now until we commence collation expectedly at the time stipulated by INEC by 11 a.m. this morning. We hope that the remaining 15 local government results would have been released by then, and we'll be able to give you a fresh update by then.
Okay, very quickly, Benga, I mean, we have spoken about the fact that even though the elections went on fairly smoothly, we did have situations where security officials, had to step in and kind of suppress political election thuggery. Would you say, like in comparison to the the elections that had taken place before, that security officials and INEC officials were able to step up to the plate and actually give a free and fair election as you've covered it in the state?
Yeah, yesterday I did told you that the Arise crew traversed about 200 kilometers monitoring from different polling centers. We were at Calgo in the morning where they reported the stolen, suspectedly cloned PVC. We were also at Gwandu. You remember Gwandu was the theater of violence where all the anomalies that compelled INEC to declare a rerun happened at the last point. It was orderly, but we told you about the misadventure of the election misadventure in Argungu local government area, where it was a free-for-all. It was a clear shift from a popularity contest to the contest of a highest bidder. We saw brazen and unrestrained distribution of vote buying. We saw distribution of bags of fertilizers, headgears, wrappers, and 5,000 are being displayed by the innocent voters after thumbprinting their votes. So it was a clear low watermark as far as electioneering standard is concerned, and INEC is expected to change its narrative, because when we look at the promise that INEC gave us, it said it is leaving no stone unturned, is beefing up and reinforcing from different formations of INEC, different states, to ensure that everything is thoroughly done, and to ensure that the voting process is up to global standard. But with the misadventure in Argungu and the suspect being arrested yesterday, it leaves a lot to be desired by both the security agencies, who could not even stop the poor crowd control at Argungu local government area. So this is clearly the situation.
All right, Benga, just very quickly, can you take us through what led to this supplementary election? And is this just a two-horse race between PDP and APC, or are all the 18 parties involved in this supplementary election?
Yes, there are 18 parties involved in this supplementary election, but if you look at it, more than ever before, this is clearly a two-horse race between the All Progressive Congress candidate, Dr. Nasser Idris, and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Major General Aminu Bandi, because even from yesterday, the results released yesterday confirmed that this was clearly a two-horse race with fierce rivalry, because when you look at the other candidates' results, the highest close to the major contestants scored as 0 in most of the local governments, and the highest coming close scored like 2 voters. So when you look at the statistics, you could be sure that this is clearly a two-horse race. Now let me take you back to what caused the rerun. Remember that INEC announced that there was overvoting in some of the local governments. There was violence and polling officers declaring results under duress. And this is the narrative that INEC was determined to come against, to change. But unfortunately, with the misadventure at Argungu local government that has one of the highest voting population, we are talking about 342,100 voters in Argungu local government, the home of one of the greatest fishing cultures in the world. So it tells you that the world is watching, and for this, it is a clear misadventure for this to have happened in such a sensitive local government area. We also reported in Gwandu local government that we saw ad hoc staff conducting the election at Gwandu local government. Gwandu local government, once again, was the theater of violence, of a lot of anomalies recorded at the last governorship election that led to the rerun. So we expected that INEC should have stepped up efforts to ensure that their best foot is being deployed at such a sensitive local government area.
Well, all right. Well, thank you, Benga, for bringing us up to speed in Kebbi State, and we will rejoin you at about 11 a.m. today. Thank you very much indeed.